Hey everyone, I really love this episode. It was brilliant. I believe they really nailed it here. We have more information about who Gamora was from the Guardians and Multiverse from the previous season. We were wondering how did Gamora and Tony end up being where they were at that moment, and now we understand that Tony ended up being here from 2012 after fighting Loki and Chitauri, and this time the portal closed earlier, so he fell to Sakaar, which is something we are aware of because of the Ragnarok. So we have Valkyrie and Korg here in the Grandmaster. You see a different side of him because he's with Tony, who's actually more comedic than Thor. When we were introduced to Korg in the Ragnarok, he was telling Thor about the fact that he's an entertainer, basically fighting the other characters in a contrast type thing. Apparently, you forgot to mention that they also do races too. And Tony's fight is basically an astro in space. Tony gets lost in space and he's trying to go back home, and time works differently in space. But people just call away, caught up with the idea of knowing that Tony saved the world, and Tony sees that Pepper is alright and they won, and that's a really big relief for them. And knowing how all that is for Tony is really a lot going in the moment there, because he just faced a lot of moments there that is really unforgettable for him. And then we see that the Grandmaster wants to lock Tony and Gamora up because they want to basically, Tony wants to run and Gamora wants to kill Tony because she's the daughter of Thanos. It's really interesting to think about when it comes to the way she follows Thanos' lead, even herself, that she's really loyal to the mission of, fighting Tony, and trying to kill him because of what happened in the Battle of New York. Remember that moment in Thor Ragnarok where Valkyrie crashed the ship? There was fireworks in the Rainbow Bridge, and she was walking towards Thor and other characters in the film in slow motion in a very cool way. She did something similar here in the racetrack, and it got me thinking, why would that be? Why? It's as if the writers are treating her the same as if she already had her character development, similar to Thor Ragnarok, where here she should be a little bit more closed off and not more aggressive towards the characters, such as Tony. That's the way she was with Thor in Thor Ragnarok. That's the way she would usually be within. That's how this character is from 2012 and not 2016, so there's a little bit of a couple of years back of that. At the same time, I felt like when watching Thor Ragnarok, I felt like she wanted to have sex where she wanted to leave the planet as well. God was a lot of fun to watch here. He has a really fun bond with Tony, and those two really got on really well in this episode. And Tony wants to escape it, and Korg makes things a little bit weird in a fun way. When watching this, I was thinking about that line that Bruce was talking to Thor about. Is Tony there because he was wearing his clothes, because he was in the Hulk, and then he tried to throw him back, but then Thor said, no, Tony's not here. Well, and now you know where he was. Well, yeah, definitely it was. This is the interesting episode of whatever. When it comes to season 2, we are introduced to Tony. Yes, also brought Gamora into the picture, and this is a Gamora that we know of. This particular Gamora we know of from the previous season, so understand the context of what she's been what's up with her and all things, and the fact that she was chosen to be part of the going into the multiverse. We have a sense of who she is now, but it feels like a flashback of her journey from where she's been to where we last saw her in the first season, and the actions that she did in the ending of the episode here where she killed Thanos. We understand why she was chosen, and that was brilliantly done to see the context of that. In this episode, we didn't really see anything about Gamora and the Infinity Stone weapon removal thing that she used on Ultron in the previous season. And that's something that I wish we really saw the history of how she ended up with that machine, but really not. And it doesn't get mentioned here. Came out of nowhere in the first season. I really wish they brought that into fruition here. I enjoyed the Grandmaster. He was a lot of fun to see. I said he was with Tony here, so we have a fun side of him. He ends up racing, and because of the planet and just he mistreats people on the planet, and they're worried just not having a lot of the questions answered. What needs to happen in a lake or something with the food or anything like that. A race car, which is really helpful for Batman. The Grandmaster and Topaz, which is the person working with the Grandmaster, Dave, Tony, and Gamora. For them to be shocked, and Tony's art director was able to help him escape because he found a way to do so, and he saved the day by racing, and he has built this new Iron Man suit and used that suit to race with, and that suit ended up being a car as well, and he also uses that, and Tony also uses Korg reactor to win the race, and I was actually real fun to see also having Valkyrie and Korg helping him in the track, and Gamora had to race as well. Grandmaster melted and died, so then Valkyrie is now king, so she's king of Sakaar and stuff. That's something to think about where Valkyrie will be living her life here. That's something to think about when it comes to where Valkyrie is in this point with her position, and then think about what she would do in the future, when she meets Thor, if it happens in this timeline. In the ending of the episode, we see that Tony and Gamora are allies in some sort, where they end up approaching Thanos, and Gamora uses the melting stick that killed the Grandmaster and killed Thanos there, and we saw that Tony was on his back with his hands behind his back, and so where was the stick, and it's also interesting to think about where was Nebula in all this, because it's 2012 in this timeline. She wasn't with Ron in Endgame in 2014. Gamora and Nebula were with Thanos, then they went to Ron, and then we saw Gamora in Xandar and Nebula in one ship, but here Nebula isn't here. Also, that character that was the Dave Loki, the staff that Ronan killed in the first Guardians of the Galaxy, that character wasn't there either. That was really weird to think about, that Thanos was by himself. That's why he was defeated easily. The thing with this episode is we have a lot more understanding of Sakaar, and also the fact that we also know what Sakaar is from the knowledge we know from Thor Ragnarok. So we have a lot of ways to think about the planet there, and there's a lot of stuff that we understand, and everything really worked really well here in this episode, and actually really enjoyed it. And this is actually one of the best episodes of the season. Like I mentioned earlier in that video, the fact that this is we have Gamora, someone that we know of from the previous season of What If. That was something that really brought the episode to fruition. We have an understanding of where she was, and now when we watch, if you guys want to watch the episode 8, the episode where Gamora was introduced in the first season of Life. We have an understanding of where she's been and what she's doing now. Understand her role more, and it's gonna be interesting to think about the fact that we might see her again. Seeing Gamora and Tony interact was a lot of fun to watch. Let me know what stood out to you or fascinated you in this episode while watching it. Let me know in the comments down below, and thank you for watching now. Appreciate all of you for watching now. See all of you tomorrow for the next one. Bye. Take care.